There are 3 steps I'm going to show you to alleviate constipation. For example, if you take a laxative for over a year, you start to create damage to the nerves and the muscles of your colon. And make sure you always read the ingredients. If it has mineral oil, do not take it, because what that's going to do, it's going to leach out fat soluble vitamins from your liver and other parts of your body. The most common type of constipation is called primary constipation. There's not like a tumor in there that's obstructing it. The first line of treatment for primary constipation is polyethylene glycol, petroleum-based medication. It's also used to preserve wood that's been waterlogged. It's used in propellants for missiles for the US Navy. Now, it is considered safe, but growing evidence has shown that it's becoming a problem. In between 1990 and 1998, they tested people and they found over 72% of those who they tested had anti-polyethylene glycol antibodies, which means these people have developed a hypersensitivity to this product, which is in a lot of different things, including medications, like I mentioned. But when they're exposed to it in other related products, they tend to get hives, might get dizzy. Now, what we've been told about constipation, of what we need to do, despite hardly any evidence of this being true, is to eat more fiber and drink more water and exercise. Ideally, the microbes consume most of the fiber, so you don't have this undigested fiber that's actually plugging up your colon. So if we just kind of step back and look at what we're dealing with a digestive tube or a pipe, which is roughly between 20 and 25 feet. Now, to the left and right, you have the gallbladder, which squeezes out bile to help you digest the fat. And then you have the pancreas, which releases enzymes to start breaking down the food, and enzymes that are made by the small intestine, all working together to break down your food and absorb nutrients. Now, think about this. If you don't have enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach to break down the protein, then you end up with undigested protein that enters the small intestine. And so you might get cramping and extra work by the pancreas to pump out more enzymes. One thing that humans cannot digest is fiber. A lot of the microbes that you have in the body act on this fiber. And ideally, a lot of that fiber is going to be broken down, so then we have the actual stool or the residue that's left over. So the stool is composed of about 75% water, 25% bacteria, and then some dead cells. Now, my digestive system was never worse than when I went on a vegan diet and I had beans, fruits, I had whole grains, I was doing soy. Oh my goodness, did my stomach get bloated and crampy, and I was so uncomfortable. You have to have a super healthy digestive system to be able to be a vegan. Because if you have leaky gut, these are really going to irritate the already existing inflammatory surface area of your intestine. And this is why some people do so well on the carnivore diet, because you eliminate all this fiber. We're getting more meat, which has a lot of glutamine, which actually can heal the intestine. So let's talk about the 3 steps that you should do to solve this problem. Okay, number 1 would be something called intermittent fasting. They should bring down their consumption of food to 2 meals a day, 1 for lunch, 1 at dinner, and eat nothing in between with those meals. That will at least give your system a chance to catch up and have a break. Okay, step number 2. This is where we're going to fix the diet. The more complex your meals are with all these different ingredients, the more chance for more stress on the digestive system. Maybe you start off with some meat and maybe 2 cups of vegetables or salad, which would be better, easier to digest than like broccoli, things like that, unless the broccoli is cooked or steamed. Now, one really good vegetable would be sauerkraut, which is really good for healing a leaky gut. So you don't want to get your fiber from grain synthetically created. We want to give your microbes things that they recognize and they're used to digesting, things like polyphenols to actually feed the microbes. But when you're dealing with the fiber from corn fiber, you're not getting these polyphenols. Another really, really important thing to avoid is seed oils, soy, corn, canola, because these things have been severely refined. So change your diet. And the diet I'm going to recommend is the healthy version of the ketogenic diet. And I'm going to put a link down below, but you're going to tweak it by not consuming a massive amount of greens or salad. You're going to have just a small amount and probably cooked or fermented, at least initially. All right, the third step, betaine hydrochloride to build up your hydrochloric acid in your stomach. So, how do you know if you need hydrochloric acid? Well, constipation is one symptom of a lack of bile. Then you need betaine hydrochloride. So, you would take like 5 of those little tablets before you eat. That alone could get rid of your constipation because bile helps lubricate the colon. And then we get to probiotics, okay? But realize that if you just get your diet corrected, you may not need probiotics. Now, another very interesting thing about your foods, when you consume plants that are raised on healthy soils, that plant is loaded with microbes. I mean, this is how cows, for example, populate their colons by consuming the grass that has the microbes from the soil. Another really good thing for you to use is magnesium, and more than just like the normal RDAs, which could come out to like 800 milligrams or even a little bit more. The other nutrient deficiency that is common in constipation is vitamin B1, which is if you've been consuming a lot of refined carbohydrates or sugars. And so you want to start taking a good vitamin B1 so you can then help stimulate the pumping action of the colon. This is where you might want to add some castor oil or senna, which is a really common natural herbal laxative that has very minimal side effects, if any, especially if you compare that to drugs. So these 3 steps should handle most constipation problems. There is always exceptions to the rules, and there's other things to take. But for right now, I think the most important thing is to start with step 1, which is intermittent fasting. So if you have not seen this video, check it out on intermittent fasting.